Hi, it's Saturday, and it's down here. It's 11:07. I think I just seem to realize there's a time difference between you and me. It's like 12:07 up there, so no wonder when I put my live videos up, nobody shows up. The time is wrong. Anyhow, uh, with that being said, it appears that there's some resistance to Donald Trump showing up. Not much. I think that's why he's got troops in Washington, D.C., and he's planning more troops. He's going to station troops without declaring martial law. Now, I don't know whether that's legal or not. Some states say they will not allow the National Guard on their streets, but I don't know whether they can do that either. He's pushing for some sort of confrontation, which will allow him to declare martial law. And as soon as that happens, that's the end of democracy. That's the end of the United States. That's the end of us being able to communicate and protest and what else. So, let's hope we can stop that before it gets to that point. That will be the beginning of civil war. And, the war was hard to fight. The first Civil War was hard to fight because of logistics. But that was basically fought in a very narrow area of the United States as compared to today. I doubt very seriously that the civilian population could mount any kind of offensive with the way this country is designed and where the military bases are and what have you, and the military support, and whether or not the military supports the civilian bases. It's not going to be a north or south or anything. It's going to be the whole United States against Trump. And that wouldn't work. That's a very difficult scenario, logistically and otherwise. But hopefully it won't come to that. Hopefully we'll be able to defeat him through what's left of the court system. But we'll wait and see. Trump is out of his mind with power. He's made $2-point-something billion off being president. With the rest of the American, that $2.2 billion, whatever it is, would do great in Social Security or someplace else, where it could be useful. He's destroying all the agencies that protect consumers and the individual rights of Americans. So you know that he's no good, and I know he's no good, and I keep saying he's no good, but apparently nobody's listening out there. And there are a lot of other people saying things like that too, but there is also a lot of phony news out there, especially, what was the last one I saw? I think I talked about it yesterday on YouTube, where they said Jason Statham, the action actor, had died. And that was just totally false, and it came up on a website called Dog Lovers. So I was saying the way it was written, I was thinking his dog died. So I clicked on it, and it turns out they're saying he's dead. This is just so stupid. People the headlines are so driven to make you click, and as I said before, people get paid by the click by their advertisers, if they have any. I don't have any advertisers, so you're not. You click on my website, I'm not making any money. You click on my videos, I don't make any money on anything that I do on the internet. Costs me money to be here. Not a lot, but a few dollars here and a few dollars there for premiums and stuff like that. And for equipment, it cost me a lot of. Well, my equipment cost me a lot of money over years. So it's not anything that's I'm going to get upset about. But this is I don't know how to explain things to you properly, you know. Should I yell and scream? Will that get more attention? I doubt it, you know, because that's just, you're just looking, you see an old fat guy out here just sucking my stomach, and, you know. So you see an old fat guy out here, and you start to, you know, think, well, what the hell does he know? I don't know anything, folks. I just have opinions. I read something that makes sense, and I talk to you about it. I don't talk to you about the stuff that doesn't make sense. Well, I did just now to show you what's going on YouTube. I reported that the ads been that video's been taken down, and I don't know whether they're going after the people or not. But you know, it's kind of crazy. You know, I've now got like 10 or 12 different newsletters coming at me that I don't know whether are real or not, and it's difficult to research them. Because if I research them, I don't need them. That's kind of, you know, the thing about the internet. You know, if you go to the internet to look up something to help influence your opinion about something, you can find it. Now, whether that is accurate and is legit is another story altogether. So I don't do a lot of researching my opinions. I take something I read in the news and I see if it's on 3 or 4 different other websites, and if it's on an international news site, then I say, okay. Then I'll come out here and I'll start complaining about it, you know. That's what 80-year-old guys do that can't sit in a plane for 4 hours to fly any place. You know, we sort of like, you know, sit around and complain. But I do have a lot of people. See, most of my friends that I know down here, the ones that speak English, are associated with American companies. Oh, excuse me. So they're interested in what I have to say, more so than probably a lot of you people that are listening to me, because there's not a lot of you listening to me. I wish I could do a podcast, but a podcast is one person standing there and talking, and doing that for an hour or so is kind of, to me, is a kind of boring thing, because you got to get people to talk to you. So we're going to try this Tuesday of going live. It would be between, for you people, I usually try to post at 11 o'clock, which is 12 o'clock up there. So it'll be, I don't know, it'll be lunchtime, between 12 and 1. I will try to be live on Tuesday, and I'll repeat this as we go along in the weekend, you know. As you know, I won't be here tomorrow. I don't do Sundays. I sleep later. Lucy sleeps later because it's quiet in the morning. There's no activity. And when I mean by activity, there's no motorcycles racing up and down the street. So you get to sleep an extra hour or something like that. But I get so, well, I don't know if I'm worried about it anymore, because my health isn't the greatest in the world, and don't think I'm going to be around that much longer. I would love to see Ukraine, if nothing else, force a draw with Russia, and that would keep them out of the way. The Chiseling Maxwell interview, I have no interest in reading that, since I'm pretty sure that it's redacted from references to Trump, because it said already, they said that Trump didn't do anything out of line. Yeah, bullshit. Trump does things out of line by getting out of bed. So, you know, that's not true. reason I think that there's like the U.S. Capitol's experience a drop in crime. Of course they are. One thing, criminals aren't stupid. When they know they can get picked up off the street for nothing and sent someplace they don't want to be, especially if they're Latinos, they could end up in El Salvador. They're not going to do anything. They're going to wait because they know it's not permanent. Even if they stay there, it won't last. All right. You put these people, and you got problems. Now, the U.S. Navy is deploying near Venezuela. Donald Trump doesn't give a shit about crime in Venezuela. He doesn't care about the drugs. What Donald Trump wants is the massive oil field that Venezuela controls, the largest underground reservoir of oil in the world. Okay? That's what he wants to get a hold of. That's why he'll send troops in there. And he's not going to get any money back. Maduro's money is all over the world, in gold and everything else. You got Chavez's daughter's worth billions of dollars. She's got money hidden because they sent money to her, and it's hidden all over the world. And she's in the United States, I think. I think she's I think she's still listed as an employee to the United Nations. So, that was a joke the first time it happened because she's got an IQ of an ant. Actually, an ant's got a better IQ. So what else is going on in the world today? Let's see. The Menendez brothers were denied parole. You got to be kind of on the elderly side to know about these guys, but they killed their parents. And they wanted parole because they felt they'd been in there long enough. And I said, well, they should have been executed when they were convicted. That's, these guys did it because they wanted the money. And that's, I don't care what they want to say. But that's it. And this is, the fact that they were denied parole is a great thing. And I'm looking at the two brothers now, photographs of them side by side as they appeared before the parole board separately. And the younger one looks definitely like he's willing to commit the crime again. And the older one just looks like he's on the verge of having a mental breakdown. But, what else is going on? I'm trying to find interesting stuff to talk about, but it's Saturday, and people go golfing and stuff like that. I don't know where Donald is. He was giving pizzas out to what? He was giving pizzas out to the National Guard and like 100 Secret Service so that he can go visit 12 National Guardsmen. That's, makes sense to me. Oh, they're saying that, Fox News had the worst, their 2020 election coverage was the worst. Yeah, so what? I don't watch Fox News. I used to watch them all the time. Till they decided that they wanted to become a political supporter of Donald Trump. I liked ABC News for a long time because they were independent and their stories were a lot of investigative journalists and stuff. Now nobody's got any good investigative journalists. All the great ones are gone. Walter Cronkite when he was on television, wasn't a great investigative reporter in the sense that he went out and talked to all these people. He had a staff that was great. He had a staff of people that wanted to work for him because that's what they did, because they were into finding out the truth. Nobody wants to know the truth anymore. If everybody was so interested in the truth, about 60% of the posts on YouTube would be gone. YouTube would probably be gone because there wouldn't be enough posts. Because for some reason people don't like to post the truth. And people don't want to read the truth. People are captivated by headlines, and that goes back to yellow journalism. What was his name? The guy that Pulitzer and who's the other guy? That the guy that his daughter got kidnapped and everything. I think he's on the LA Times at the time or something like that. These are the people that were competed against each other at the time in the newspaper field, and yellow journalism was born. This is where you spectacular headlines without substance. So they keep coming after Social Security, and it's going to be gone in the year 2020, 2033, unless somebody does something good to it. And Trump's not about to do anything good to it. Maybe as they get closer to the election, they might at least say they're going to do something good about it, But I think he wants to get it out of the way before the 2028 presidential election, and he'd like to have it put on and he wants to keep it out of the public spotlight during the 2026 midterms, assuming we have midterms. Oh, one of the other things I've been looking at is I kept hearing about the tacky Oval Office, and to be honest with you, I don't pay attention to the backgrounds on these videos. I was watching, like when Zelensky and Trump were meeting, I watched Zelensky's reactions, his physical reactions and whatnot. So I went out and I started finding like photographs and a couple of videos dealing with the Oval Office, and people are right. That's so tacky. I mean, there's gold everywhere. It's not a historical. It's not a representation of the United States anymore. It's a representation of Trump's world. Wow. So anyhow, it's Saturday. We have football tomorrow. Looks like there aren't going to be a lot of big names playing again. I will tell you this. Giants look like they have a possibility of being they have the toughest schedule in the league, I think somebody said. And they tend to play pretty good when they have that schedule. So we'll wait and see what happens there. They got a young kid that could be a great quarterback if they can keep him from getting screwed over and keep him healthy and whatnot. And we'll wait and see. It's time for a new generation of quarterbacks. Rodgers and Russell Wilson are basically gone. Burrows and some of the others in the AFC, they're just about at the edge. If this is pretty much could be their last hurrah. Even the guys I like, this could be the last hurrah, because the younger guys are getting better. You're gonna have Archie Manning coming. Is that his name? Arch Manning? I think that's him. He's gonna be something special. And then you got all these new quarterbacks coming out of these big schools now. So because they're getting paid. We have to do away with that, and you'd start to see reality set in again. They would drop back in that, and you wouldn't see such players playing so great or something like that. I don't know. Who knows? Anyhow, listen, it's the end of my day today. I'm not going to be here tomorrow. Subscribe. And you know what? I still won't be here tomorrow. But subscribe to my videos. And look for me live on Tuesday. The Eastern time in the United States, the time is going to be between 11 and 12, and it'll probably be between 12 and 1, because I'll be doing it between 11 and 12, because there's an hour difference, which I forgot all about. I don't pay attention to that anymore, but there's an hour difference between us. You guys are ahead of me. When they get rid of daylight savings, we'll be on the same time page again, but so far as daylight savings is in, you guys have a jump on me. So anyhow, I'll talk to you on Monday. Everybody have a great weekend. Party hardy.